Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again for another process video. This one is for the Shimmerz design team, and I'm starting off with my pictures there. There's some more Las Vegas pictures, and I can talk about them later. But I only needed, to get started with this, I only needed a piece of scrap cardstock. So I just cut about a half of a piece off of another sheet that I had used in my cameo. And I'm covering it with clear gesso, and then I have a bunch of my Shimmerz products out, mostly greens and blues, because one of my pictures is of really turquoisey, that's not even a word, but turquoise and teal colored water. So I wanted to get that color along with several other tints of blues and greens on this sheet of paper. And I don't know if you saw it, but a couple weeks ago I made a layout for one of my other teams that had a bunch of mixed media looking circles in the background. And I did not make a video for it, but I had several people ask me if I did make a video for that, and I wish I would have filmed it, but I didn't. So this layout is going to be kind of a recreation of that because I wanted to show the process of how I did it. So as you can see here, I'm using the packaging technique again with several different, I'm using vibes, spritz, colorings, and all of these products are available on the Shimmerz website. They are all amazing. Some of them are more pigmented. Some of them have shimmer, like a glittery tint to them. Some of them are kind of iridescent. It just depends. Each line of the paints that are available are all different. This one here in this little tub that I'm using is the newest one. It's called Creamies, and it's like a watercolor, but it's a lot thicker, and as you can see here, I'm trying to dab it with my brush, and it doesn't do it as well because it's thicker. So if you want it to splatter, you have to add more water. But I love the different textures of these products. So I'm taking a stencil here, and I believe that's a Crafter's Workshop stencil with several different patterns on it, and what I'm using through that is textures in the color called Patina. And it's sort of goes on like modeling paste, except it is a gorgeous shimmery color. It's like a really pale bluish green color. I am adding some gelatos. All I'm doing is trying to coat this entire paper with like a collage of random color. I want it splotchy. I want different textures. I want different, I want some circles. I want some splatters. I'm using the packaging. I'm using my finger, I'm using the brush. I'm just kind of creating a bunch of different tones and shades, and I just want it to look messy. And so a lot of this video is me creating on this sheet of paper here, and you'll see what I'm going to do with it later. And this is a really good and easy technique if you want to try mixed media, but you're afraid to, or you're hesitant to because you may think, oh gosh, I'm just going to mess it up, or if I make a big splatter here, it's going to ruin the whole thing. Well, don't be afraid, because this right here is an easy way, because as you can see, this is basically a scrap sheet of paper, and I'm making a mess. That's all I'm doing is spraying, painting, splattering, smearing, smudging in no rhyme or reason, and it's turning out really pretty because of all the different colors. I just keep going at it until I get the bulk of it covered in different colors. I really like how this layout turned out, and I kind of just want to do it again. And this is something that you can do with any color scheme of, you could use paint, whatever you have on hand. The Shimmerz products are really, really awesome. If you have not tried them, they are amazing. I'm going back in here with the Creamies again, and you can see it's a little bit thicker. So I'm just using my brush for that. I think that's Ride the Tide is the name of that. The names of these products are so fun. That's more of a teal color. I believe that is the colorings in Well Blow Me Down. Well, Blew Me Down, I think it is. They're all fun little names there. So here I am mixing some, I believe it's vibes and colorings and spritz together. I'm just trying to see what kind of color I can come up with that I haven't used yet. And I try to use my finger to dab over that stencil, and it's just too watery. It didn't really do what I had thought it was going to do. So I just splatter it instead. And I think I dab a little bit with a paper towel. Yep. But you can still see the splatters there. So I'm not done yet. I want to try something else. Gelatos, and that is a Shimmerz product. It is such a pretty green. Well, I mean, of course, they're all Shimmerz, but the name of this is actually Shimmerz. It's like a watercolor paint, but it's definitely got a shimmery tone to it. So pretty. That is called Jilted Jade, I believe. And that did a little bit better with my finger smudging. Okay, so now what I'm going to do with the sheet of paper after it dries is take a bunch of different circle punches and just punch a bunch of circles. Just like you see here, you can't mess this up. That big circle punch is huge. It's like as big as my hand. But I think it's a 3-inch, a 2.5, a 2-inch, a 1.5, and maybe a 1. And I'm just going through my little sheet of paper there and cutting several circles, or not cutting, but punching in different shapes. And now I'm going to have a mixed media layout that's actually kind of neat and organized because it's not all over the background. And I think anybody can do this because there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's more of a controlled mixed media because you've got the punched shapes and everything is dry, and you can do squares, you can do triangles, you can do whatever. So I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put my pictures because I have one horizontal and one vertical. I tape my circles down and I wind up stitching through them. Oh, I don't stitch yet. I want to back my photos, and I use vellum, kind of like I've been doing on a lot of my layouts lately. And I'm sorry if this is going too fast. I had like 30 minutes worth of video when I first did this, and I was thinking that's just too much. So I had to narrow it down to 15 minutes. So I tried to cut out what you didn't have to see and sped it up the rest of the way. So there I did stitch. You can see I made plus signs, horizontal and vertical, through all the circles with silver thread. I think the silver looks really pretty with this. And there's my title, Bellagio, because that's where we were. And I can talk about that again later. I want to tell you what I'm doing here. I'm taking the, is that a Spritz or a Vibes? I don't remember. It's a gray color. And I make a big mistake because I have that stamp I'm using. It's not mounted on anything. It's a bunch of circles. And in my mind, this was supposed to turn out a lot better. But as you can see, it just turned out to look like some silver smudges. And I did not like it. So I wind up fixing it later. Yeah. The more I look at that, the more I remember looking at it thinking, oh, you just ruined this whole thing. But I was bound and determined to not quit because I was not starting over. So here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some white gesso and just kind of treat it like whiteout. Remember whiteout? They still make that stuff. And just basically cover it up. I don't cover all of it up, but I cover up a lot of it to where I don't hate it. So here I go again, mixing more of the colors, blues and greens, and I want to add more of a green tone. So that is Shimmerz and Key Lime right there. And I'm just kind of experimenting. A lot of this layout is experimenting with the different colors and just playing around with to mix everything together and see what I can get. Now, this is a real professional tool. It's a cup. A plastic cup, and it's the greatest way to make big circles. So I'm going to kind of use it as a stamp, and it's going to give it pops of green. I still wanted a messy look, and so I just used that cup as a stamp, and I really like the way the color turned out. It's like a lime green, and I think it's really pretty. So when in doubt, go into your kitchen and look around. You never know what you can find to use as a stamp. Sometimes I use the lids to my my spray bottles. They make excellent little circle stamps. But this, I wanted a bigger circle, so a cup. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to work on my pictures. And a long time ago I bought a roll of this text tissue paper from Michaels. It's from Hazel and Ruby. And I'm not even paying attention to what it says. I just wanted a little bit of interest behind the pictures. Nothing that would take away from them, but just something else. And I just didn't really have any pattern paper that was standing out to me to use. So I popped those pictures up onto the tissue paper. And here's something that I've had cut for a while. I use this a lot. It's just circles, attached circles, or whatever you want to call that, in vellum. And I cut some of them apart and I scatter them over the page. And I did this on the previous layout that I did. And I should have put the picture of that layout in this video, but I was in a hurry today because I had so much going on and I just forgot to add it in here. But it's on my Instagram and it's on my blog. And it's more of like a purple and blue, whereas this one is green and blue. So I just glue all of those little vellum circles down around the page. And I like vellum. I like running it through my Cameo. And like here, it gives the image or the illusion of circles, but they're not overpowering at all. So there's the title, Bellagio, because we were in Vegas and we were standing in front of the Bellagio. And if you've ever been to the Bellagio, then you know about the huge lake in front of it. And every 30 minutes, the fountains go, they put on like a show, and there's music, and at night there's lights, and the fountains are amazing. The water shoots up in all these different tempos and heights, and it's just really neat to watch. And so we were walking by and it happened to start, so I finally got some pictures of that. And the water is just really blue and really pretty. So that's a little bag that I have in a pack that I bought from Michaels a long time ago on clearance. I really hardly ever use lime green, but I thought they're on clearance. I'm going to use it for something one day. I think it was like 20 or 25 bags for $1. And this is exactly what I had in mind, using it as layering in a layout. And I think it gives it a nice little pop of green there. And I do add some flare buttons. And I pulled these stars from my stash. Those are from Studio Calico. And I think I've mainly used those on Christmas layouts. But they're silver, and I'm all about silver in this layout, so I added a few of those. And more random bits. I believe these are Studio Calico. I think they're Studio Calico. Wood veneer. It's like a travel set. Some freckled fawn arrow clips that I add to the sides there. One green and one blue. I was really, really excited about how this was looking so far. I really like how those circles turned out. I think that's such a fun way to create a background. And again, this is another what I would call a from scratch layout, where you don't really even use a collection. You just kind of use your random things after you create your background. So added my journaling in there. Add a couple of brads. And these brads are actually from a Prima set that I got. I don't even think I got the collection. There they are. I just got the brads because I like the colors, and they were just really cute. So, and they matched my colors here. So I added a couple of those in. And then I have this little Studio Calico words, just little word stickers. So I add a couple of those in. And I believe I finished it off with some washi tape. I used this lime green color for a couple pops of green around the pictures. And then I pull in my gray and white stripe right there. It's kind of like the black and white stripe that I have, but it's gray. So add a little bit of that in, and I think this is going to wrap it up. I have a list of all the Shimmerz products that I used coming up at the end, along with the website, if you would like to order any of these products. There's the final picture. I think it turned out really cool. I love, love, love the colors. I think it matches the water in that picture perfectly. There's some close-ups of, you can see the circles, add a little dimension there. They don't lay flat. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you have any questions, let me know. I'm working on another video, hopefully that will be going up later tonight or tomorrow for the cut shop. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Thanks for coming by and have a great night.